Okay, so now we are ready to create our web page called Bus. So what we do now is we want to create new. We want to create a new web page, and a box appears. All you have to do is make sure you click on HTML and create. Okay. Now there are different views here. You've got code view, split view, and design view, and some of you may be switched into live mode, which will not allow you to do any work. So you want to be in design view. And as we are designers, that's where we're going. So if you see funny code on your screen, click on the design view. When you first download the software, you are given different color options to select what your background color will be. I selected the white background because it's easier to read, but some of you may have black backgrounds. So again, just make sure that you're in standard mode up at the top menu. Now, here we have a web page open, and at the moment it's called Untitled. The first thing you're going to do is name your web page. Always name your web page before you start, and always use small letters and no gaps, no spaces when you name your web page. So, File, Save As, just double check it's gone into the correct folder, and just Bus with small letters. Okay, so now we have a web page. Now, I'm going to copy and paste the text that I have taken from that web page. And what I need to do is I need to just put the gap between the key features. Okay. So I'm just tidying it up because if we go to do bullet points and headings, if the text is on top of each other, it'll cause problems. So when you do bullet points, you normally type each thing and put a gap in between. But because I've brought this in from Microsoft Word, I just have to put a gap in, but it's actually putting two gaps in. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm ready to enter the text. Now some of you may have lines of text running off your page. My screen is big enough here so you can see all the text. So if you wanted to click enter, you can push the sentences underneath each other. And when you click enter, what you're doing is you're creating a new paragraph. So you've got this blank line in between the lines. Control Z to undo that. If you wanted to go directly underneath, hold down the Shift key, press enter. Okay, oh, that went wrong. Let me try it. There we go. So Shift means line break. So when you press Shift and enter, it just pushes the lines directly underneath each other. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to create a giant heading. The heading of the web page is Crumlin Bus. You can do it a couple of different ways. Number one way for me is your property panel. Go to Format, Heading 1. Okay. Control Z to undo that. The other way you can do it is right click with your mouse, paragraph format. There's all your heading sizes. Heading 1 is the biggest, heading 2 is slightly smaller, and the rest of them go smaller and smaller. So heading 1. So you can use your property panel, you can right click with your mouse, and then the other ways that you don't really need to know, you can use your insert panel. There's insert heading. H1 stands for heading 1. H1 is the tag name. And then you also have your insert panel, which is here, which you probably won't use very much, but here you go, look, there's your heading options. So for me, I just use the paragraph format. If you can find your property panel or your insert panel, you will find it here in your window. So go Window, Properties, and there's your property panel. Now, that's how you do your headings. I am going to set the bus as a heading 2, so I'm just going into my paragraph or my property panel and doing it with the format. And Lewis is also going to be a heading 2. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is my bullet points. The bullet points are done pretty much the same way as the two links. So first thing you need to do is highlight all your bullet points. And see the property panel? You have the unordered list. This is a little icon you might recognize from Microsoft Word that puts the dots in. The one beside it does numbers. It's gone a bit wonky just because of Microsoft Word. So this is what I want. I can do it on my property panel. The other way to create bullet points is right click and list. Unordered list gives you dotted bullet points. And you can right click and there's your option for the numbered bullet points, ordered list. Okay. I'll tidy it up in a few minutes after I do the demo. So another way to do bullet points, again, you go to Insert, and there's your unordered list for your dotted bullet points. And there's your ordered list for your numbered bullet points. Again, you wouldn't use that much often. I use this little icon a lot. You can also do it in your insert panel. If you go to Window Insert, because I closed it, you will find unordered list. UL is the tag name, that's for the dots, and OL, ordered list, that's for the numbers. By the way, you can minimize if things are getting in your way. The double arrows here lets you close things off so you can move things around and you can dock them. I prefer to keep them separate. But sometimes if things are in your way, just use your little double arrow. It means they're on the screen and you don't have to find them in the window panel. But anything you can't find, you will find it in the window. Okay, so let me go back and actually do the bullet points. So I'm starting from the bottom, and I'm starting at the very end, and I'm dragging upwards. I'm pressing my bullet points, and then after each dot I'm just hitting the delete key, and that will tidy them up. It's not normal to have this extra task or step. It's just something that went wrong when I imported from Microsoft Word. Okay, so there's my bullet points. Now I'm getting ready to color my page. So we go to the property panel and click on page properties. And the only thing I want to do is click on my headings. Okay, so I know I've used heading size 1, so I'm going to choose a color. So I'll go with a nice smoky blue. And my heading 2, I'm going to stick with the smoky blue color, but I'm going to choose a lighter shade. So you can use the different shades of the same color. And if you click OK, you can see that your headings have now changed. Another thing you can do with your page properties is in the beginning, when you first open the screen, there's the option here, Appearance. Change your font. So changing the font immediately has an effect. You can also change your background color. So I might go with a very light smoky grey blue, something like that maybe. Now if you're using a light background, keep your text black. So sometimes when you want a color, you have to actually click on it and then click off this box. It does appear on its own, but once you click out of it, it disappears. You can see if your colors are nice by clicking the apply button, and if you're happy with them, click OK. So now I'm just going to tidy up the gaps a little bit, and hey presto, there is our first web page. So when you want, all you have to do now is just go File and Save. You've already given it a name at the start, so all you have to do is save it.